Alright everyone, the long-awaited day is here. YouTube has announced it is suspending the use of the public dislike counter. Now, you'll still be able to dislike a video. You just won't be able to see how disliked a video is. Now, I'm going to go through a few of the comments here. This is off the chain. This is YouTube's, Team YouTube, of course, on Twitter. To reduce targeted dislike attacks and their impact on creators, especially on smaller creators, of course, wink wink, you'll no longer see a public dislike count on YouTube starting today. The dislike button is staying. This comes after lots of research, testing, and consideration. Now, if you go down through the replies, archived link in the description, of course, you're going to see that they're mocking their own creators, number one. They're being dismissive of Ridicule, which is near universal here. I mean, they're getting... the irony is they're ratioed on Twitter with regards to this post. So, for instance, OCNZ YouTube. Robux scam streams, Fortnite scam streams, life scam streams, lol, hiding dislikes is a nightmare. Highly rated comment because, of course, yes, there are a lot of scams on YouTube, and, you know, if things are disliked heavily, that usually signals to the other person that may be watching that video, hey, this isn't actually legit, this is horseshit. What does Team YouTube decide to tweet back with? Big sigh. Scams are not allowed on YouTube, so this isn't the experience we want you or anyone to have. If possible, can you share the video and channel URLs? Also happy to DM and get the info privately, as that's likely better. Just let us know. We'll report this for you. Now, I mean, that's outside of even their normal reporting function, but big sigh. So you're mocking this user? You're mocking this individual for pointing out how fucking moronic this is? Here's what YouTube is actually doing, and it's been happening for years. This is not about dislike raids on some smaller creator's channel. Think about this logically for a moment. You're a smaller creator. You got like 500 subs. What are the odds that you actually end up on the radar of some Discord server, a 4chan thread, etc., saying, hey, let's raid this individual? Minuscule. Very, very minuscule. I would know this particular subject was brought up over a year ago in context of YouTube getting a bunch of larger creators, you know, the blue checkmark crowd, basically, a bunch of Astroturfed people together. They talk to larger creators. What would you like to see done on the site? None of these people are smaller creators. So the idea that this has anything to do with protecting smaller creators is already null and void right off the bat, because none of them were actually consulted with regards to this rule change. Even creators like me, who have hundreds of thousands of subscribers, we weren't asked, what do you want to see in YouTube? Hey, well, it'd be nice if you would stop kicking people off the platform for no reason. It'd be nice if you would compete with other platforms by allowing broader content. Hey, it'd be nice if you'd stop sheltering a bunch of Astroturfed people who, it was announced a couple of years ago, you were literally paying to be on the platform, you know, celebrities, etc. I'll tell you who benefits from this. Corporations, which get ridiculed because they say weird stuff. The White House and similar groups. Political wonks, mainline political wonks. The Young Turks will benefit from this because you won't be able to see them get ratioed. The leftoids benefit from this. At least some of them do. Not some little leftoid, but the larger creators. And then people who are verified, technically people like me, benefit from this if they're making shitty content. And here's the thing. I don't want my dislikes to not be public. I want is there an opt-in where I can say, hey, I want people to be able to see how disliked my videos are? Is there going to be an opt-in option where I can say, look, I'm one of the good ones. People actually like my content to the point where I'm confident to have my likes and my dislikes, my ratio, displayed publicly. Can I opt into something like that, YouTube, please? Because I've got nothing to fear. I know that I make good content, but the Astroturfed creators that they're trying to replace some of us with, they don't. They're Astroturfed. They're corporatized. It's swill content. It's the sort of dumbed down, mind-numbing shit that you see on On-Demand. It's not even really that talented. It's not even On-Demand quality. You're not going to see them with a Netflix special. It's a bunch of horse shit by the Young Turds and by Pac-Man and people like that or by talentless singers who have absolutely nothing to sing about. They're recycling the same shit that's been sung for 50 years. And people that YouTube astroturfs to try to get more younger users on board. So they'll take some like 19-year-old and say, hey, you could be like a C-lister under normal circumstances, but here's a 6-figure contract. Make exclusive videos for us. And that's how this works. They don't want them to get disliked. They want them to think that they're great. And they want other people to think that they're great too. This hides the fact that there is a lot of talentless bullshit on YouTube. And that doesn't affect small creators. If you're talking about what even qualifies as small at this point? Under 10,000 subs, 20,000? What is it now? YouTube is oversaturated with material anyway. So let's give it an arbitrary cutoff. Let's say this is under 1,000 subs. You're a smaller creator. How are you going to get targeted by a dislike raid unless you genuinely have said or done something that is reprehensible or totally off the wall? You're not. Nobody knows you exist because of YouTube's algorithms promoting all of the priority content, which comes from larger channels by and large. Nobody even knows you are there. So this can't have anything to do with it. This is about protecting the White House. This is about protecting Beijing Biden. This is about protecting talentless people. People that may have been at the top for a while. Maybe they were grassroots, but they suck. Nobody likes their content. People watch them because they suck, and they downvote the content because it sucks. That's what this is about. If I had any advice to give to YouTube, it would be this. Do a 180. Apologize to your user base for mocking multiple content creators, number one. Apologize to people for a dumb idea, number two. And then number three, back off taking advice from the astroturfers that you initially talked to because they don't represent 99.9% of the platform. We all know that you're trying to kick everyone else off so that you can become another brand of on-demand. We all recognize that. This has been talked about for years. Razorfist, I think, was the first one to point out the general trajectory of YouTube as a platform. But it's not going to work. The fact is that the can of worms has been opened. The internet is for people to express themselves, and they want to express themselves. They don't need to be protected from, they don't need their ego protected from seeing the fact that their latest video was slightly disliked. They don't need to be protected from dislike raids that disproportionately are going to affect larger users, people with a target on their back, people who have large audiences. Well, if they're any good at all, they have thousands, maybe tens of thousands of people that will like the content. Well, why the hell would they fear a dislike raid? That's total horseshit. This thing is like a throwback to the 2000s, back when dislike raids actually were fairly common. They're not common anymore because they don't work. No, what you're really talking about is looking at organically disliked content from political wonks, from political figures, political parties in some cases, from people that make music that just sucks, and you're trying to protect them because you don't want them to use some other platform. That's what this is about. This is about money. It's not about improving the user experience or anything like that. Going down through this, YouTube is just full of shit. We've seen that when creators use the option and chose to turn off likes and dislikes on their videos, they can be bullied and harassed for that decision. How? You don't even have DMs anymore. So people made mean comments? Well, maybe it's because that content sucked. That's why they turned off the likes and dislikes, and they're still getting comments that tell them that they suck because they fucking suck. That's just the reality. Ultimately, it's our responsibility to protect the YouTube community, so we've decided to make this change across our videos. Again, can I get an opt-out? Can I opt out of this so that people can like or dislike my videos and see what the ratio is? Because I don't care. Because I have talent. But these people that are complaining, they don't have talent. That's the whole point. They're astroturfers or they're goddamn talentless hacks. That's the whole point of this. This was already an option for creators, but we've seen that when creators choose to turn off likes and dislikes, they can be bullied and harassed. See, they're recycling the basically same thing, but they've got their bot trained well, so it has 5 or 6 ways of saying things, so you wouldn't notice. You'd think it was a real person at the other end. Yeah. Logan saying, Logarithern. This is a joke. To protect small creators, this is to protect big corporations from criticism and to support their bottom line. Full stop. Really disappointing. Gonna have to reconsider my premium sub. Team YouTube answering, We understand why some could think that, though it's definitely not the case. This change is about protecting our creators by reducing targeted dislike attacks, especially for smaller channels. Background and more details in the video. You know, the same shitty video. I guess you can't see the dislike counter on it, so it doesn't really matter. I'll go to it anyway and dislike it regardless. But it's not. We know that it's not about smaller creators because they don't get targeted by that kind of raids. A person under 1,000, 2,000 subscribers is a blip on the goddamn radar. People who have hundreds of thousands of subscribers, they're smaller creators these days. There are people on YouTube with tens of millions of followers. They're akin to A-listers 20 or 30 years ago that are on goddamn MTV with their 17-bedroom mansion. This has nothing to do with protecting smaller creators. We know this. All you have to do is think a little bit critically. And then they keep recycling the same horseshit over and over again. And I'm thinking to myself, like, if ever there was a time, and I'm going to admonish all of you out there, if ever there was a time to make a channel, and follow me, of course, on Odyssey, Minds, Rumble, BitChute, wherever the hell, it was now. This could be a MySpace moment for YouTube because even smaller creators are ridiculing them. They're saying, we didn't ask for this. What the hell? Well, of course you didn't. No, YouTube had a council of creators that it consulted with regards to this and other changes it's been making roughly over the last year. It didn't include me. It didn't include any of you. It didn't include smaller creators. It included large creators, priority creators, people that would play nice, people that were family friendly, that Susan Wojcicki would be willing to appear with in public. That's the whole problem. The yuppies and the preppies are the ones now informing YouTube. It was built by the geeks and the nerds and the Dungeons and Dragons kids and the weirdos that wanted to look at weird shit like bum fights. That's who built YouTube. Now it has been transferred to the boring dross of society, the morons of society. But they make a lot of money because, of course, advertisers aren't going to complain about them. That's the entire problem of the platform. That's entirely why we need new tech. That's entirely why people are also, by the way, younger users, not using YouTube. They're going to TikTok. Just as censored. Chinese spyware got a million problems with it. They're using TikTok because it's not as algorithmically censored. I hate to say it, but the Chinese spyware app, as far as the algorithmic side of things, functions better. That's the problem for YouTube. And they're trying to get people back aboard by stroking their ego and making them think they're more popular than they are. No, here's what you do. Reward real creativity. Reward real talent. And if somebody is making shit, if someone is making dumb content and they get ratioed, acknowledge. We're not responsible for the fact that you have a 10-to-1 dislike ratio. Your content goddamn sucks, and probably you should be doing something better with your fucking life. That's about all. Peace out.